Okay, so now in this video we will have a look at the first layer type, which is the fill layer type. So, as mentioned in the first video, we got 10 different layer types and we'll cover them each. And the fill layer type is the most basic one, I would say. And what the fill layer is, it basically is the layer type that is used for filling individual hexes like in one step. It's mostly probably used for just laying out the ground, I would say, of the map. And so if you got your fill layer type selected, in this case our layer has the type fill and is called terrain. And if we select it, we can see here in the left hand corner that we got the options for the fill layer type. So we got three modes in this layer type. We got the hex mode, the dot color mode, and the hex edge mode. And we start with the hex mode, which probably it will be used for in most cases. And what you can do in the hex mode is you can just color single hexes. So if we select a color, in this case blue, and we click on a hex, you can see that you just color this hex. You can also hold the left mouse button and just drag around your mouse. You can see that it fills the hexes with your color. What you can also do down here, you can see the radius setting, and here you can either click in fixed numbers or just use the slider. And what this does is it creates a radius around your center hex with the defined number, so you can make each hexes in this radius the same color. So this can be useful if you want to quickly color larger areas of the map. And you also can use the fill everything button in order to fill the whole map in the selected color. What you also see is under the color tab, you have either the color picker where you can manually choose a color, or you can paste in hex codes for the color, or you can pick a screen color, so it will take a color from your screen and use this. And what you also can do, and what I would recommend you to do, is you can use predefined color palettes. So if you click this drop-down menu, you can see there are two palettes like predefined, and they got colors that fit nicely together. So you can use them for creating your terrain. And you can, of course, also edit your color palettes and add colors and so on. And you do this in the edit menu point on edit palettes. And what you can do here, you can create a new palette. So in this case, we call it the test palette. Hit OK. Now it created the test palette, which has no colors right now. And then we hit add color. And maybe we call this, let's call it open ground. And now we can set up a color for this. Hit OK. And now we can choose here our palette, test palette, with our predefined colors. And then we can draw on the map with this color. So you can add different colors. Let's maybe also add water. And then we load it again and we got the watercolor here. And yeah, that's the basic filling. With solid colors, what you also can do is if you change the paint mode from color to texture, you can color complete hexes with a texture. So it's not like a solid color, but it's more like a texture. Now you can see it's pretty pixelated. That's because the standard is zoomed in, so you can change the zoom of it. and then you can draw a texture in one hex with one click. And the texture is like tiled in the whole world space, so this means it repeats itself over the complete map and not every time in each hex. And because of that, you can also like change the offset and the rotation of the underlying texture. Like in this case, it doesn't really matter because it's like a grass texture where you hardly see any rotation. But if you got a texture that maybe is like tiled wood or something that has lines in it, then the rotation of course will matter, so you can change the rotation of this. There are also fixed points for rotation, like every 60 and 90 degree. So yeah, for the hex sides. What you also can do with the textures, you can click on Manager and then a window for the texture manager opens. And what you can do here is you can click Import and then you can just import textures. So if you do it, you get another like a small window where you can define for your texture. Oh, I will show it to you. So for example, like let's just add like these floor tiles. We just call it floor tiles. We can define a game. So we just call it tactical, and we can define a category. We call it floor. And now our texture is imported and you can see it here. And now we can use it. And what you can do if you get a lot of textures, you can use these filters. So you can use the game or the category filter, and then all textures not having or not fitting in that filters will be blended out. So you got always your matching textures. And if you got a lot of textures here, you can also hit the expand button, and then a window pops up where you have a better view of your textures. And now I will also show you the rotation. So if we put in a rotation, you can see that the texture gets like rotated. And also if we can zoom further, you see that the texture gets bigger or even smaller. So that's for the hex mode in our fill layer type. And we go ahead with the dot color. For this we have to blend in our center dots, which are predefined as black center dots from our map settings. And with the dot color mode, you can change the color of single hex dots just by clicking in the hex. So for example, if you got like in a lot of tactical games, if you want to highlight if a building, for example, is a wooden or heavy structure, you can just change the hex color of, or sorry, the dot color of single hexes. Also, if the center dots would have an outline, which this map does not have, you could also change the outline of your hex dots. And the last mode in the fill layer type is the hex edge mode. And what the hex edge mode does, as you can see here, you can like draw in like an inner border at every edge in a hex. So maybe we should make it a little bit more prominent. So like this. And this may serve more like administrative purposes, where you can highlight certain hexes for certain rules or whatever. You also can turn on an outline, and then you see maybe a little bit bigger, and then you can see that the edge also gets an outline. Yeah, and these are the basic functions of the fill layer type, which, as mentioned, is probably the easiest and the most self-explaining one. So you can just put different colors and or textures in your hexes.